We're going to start the evening off with Mark Dowding joining us, and can we give him a big round of applause?
Thank you very much. Right. Yes, the way we're going to work tonight is I'm going to do half an hour or so, then we'll get Dave on to do half an hour, then we'll have a break, and if you're still here, we'll do it again in the second half. Right. So we'll start with Man of the Earth, written by Bernie Parry, and probably in the 70s. I remember him singing it at folk clubs in the 70s, and it's one of the first songs I ever learnt actually. No, it's actually the first song I ever learnt was "Here comes Bill, here comes Ben, Bill and Ben, Bill and Ben, flower pot men." Remember that one? Every day as I go through the old shanty town where the sheds and allotments all stand, I see an old man on his land with a rake or a spade in his hand, and he's there in all weather, in sunshine and rain, and I hesitate as I go past. Is he happy or sad at his task? But I haven't the time for to ask. He's a man of the earth, he's a man of the soil. In his lonely allotment he labours and toils. There's not much to do since he turned 65, so he took to his garden to keep him alive, and I think it's his joy and his pride. 50 years in the ironworks broke his will, on his back and his shoulders around. There was no other work to be found, so they had him both fettered and bound. Then all of a sudden he turned 65, and the bosses said, "Thank you, my man," and they shoved a gold watch in his hand, and the doors behind him quickly slammed. He's a man of the earth, he's a man of the soil. In his lonely allotment he labours and toils. There's not much to do since he turned 65, so he took to his garden to keep him alive, and I think it's his joy and his pride. Every Saturday evening he's down at the pub, and he sits by himself at the bar, slowly sipping a solitary jar, for his pension won't go very far. So he sells a few things to his neighbours and friends, a few of the things that he grows, but he's got to watch out how he goes, for they'll stop all his pension, he knows. He's a man of the earth, he's a man of the soil. In his lonely allotment he labours and toils. There's not much to do since he turned 65, so he took to his garden to keep him alive, and I think it's his joy and his pride. Every day as I go through the old shanty town where the sheds and allotments all stand, I see an old man on his land with a rake or a spade in his hand. But I really can't linger, for I must be gone. I work in the ironworks too. I started there 5 years ago, only 45 more years to go. He's a man of the earth, he's a man of the soil. In his lonely allotment he labours and toils. There's not much to do since he turned 65, so he took to his garden to keep him alive, and I think it's his joy and his pride. Yes, I think it's his joy and his pride. music shop up here. There's all sorts of things. We're selling them off later, so we can buy enough petrol to get home. Actually, I'll tell you about this banjo. Who remembers Harry Boardman? Yes, one or two. I used to be a resident at Harry's Club in Manchester in the early 80s, and he came in one night, and he said, "I'm thinking of buying a new banjo." And I said, "What are you doing with that one?" This one. "Oh, well, why do you want to buy it?" And here it is. Yes, I think he took pity on me because I must have robbed him really. It cost me 25 quid, this banjo. Off Harry. Yeah, I know. Well, I know. Anyway, here it is. Sadly, Harry is no longer with us, but his banjo still goes on. Anybody in the weaving industry, they would write songs about the cotton trade or whatever, and they would be the miserable songs you'd hear. And anybody who wasn't in the weaving industry would write songs about the cotton industry, and they would be the happy songs you'd hear. So you can tell what sort of a person he was who wrote it just by the song. Now this is a happy song about weaving, so it was written by somebody who'd never set foot in a weaving shed before. John Trafford Clegg was his name. He was a printer and a writer from Rochdale, and he wrote all sorts of stuff, including this one. It's called A Weaver's Song, and you can tell it's by the tune. It's quite the tune actually is from Yorkshire, but you know, it's none the worse for that. Don't worry about it. It's a very upbeat tune, and the tune will give the rattle of the looms as they sort of weaving and working. So this is A Weaver's Song. Down in shed on a summer's day, without sun shining through whitewashed top, brids on slates are chirping away, and I whistle a tune to every cop. Clattering loom and whirling wheel, flying shuttle and steady reed. This is work for to make 'em on feel there's worse jobs than weaving in times of need. Straight drawn alley and clean white walls, picking pegs nodding their heads all round, walks bending down like waterfalls, and cogwheels rattling a merry sound. Tidy skips running over with weft, snowy cloth winding on the beam. Take a good sniff at flying drift, it's clay and dust and we're nobbut same. Lads and lasses standing in rows, working away from morn till neat. Tenters, bobsalls, Bettys and Joes, running about on the nimble feet, keeping time to a steady tune, playing bit engine from leap till dark, feeding water and cold bow spoon, and he's always right for another day's work. Waving cotton all sizes and mix, tablecloths, handkerchiefs, outs and outs, shirts for whites and America's blacks, and towels for Chinamen, India clouts, duties, jacket, sheetings, twills, yard wide narrow with heavy and late, brats and petticoats, fancies, drills, we can weave out and weave it right. Down in shed on a winter's day, sun asleep in his cloudy bed, scores of gas links blazing away on shining pulley and snowy thread, clattering loom and whirling wheel, flying shuttle and steady reed. This is work for to make 'em on feel there's worse jobs than weaving in times of need. Songs that's been going for years, 1932 or something like that. It was written by Jimmy Miller, who'd just come off the mass trespass at Kinder Scout. And he wrote this song which became a standard, big hit with everybody. And the first verse I sing, you probably don't know unless you've seen me before and you've heard me do it then, and you've come up and said, "I've never heard that verse before. Where did you get it from?" I actually got it from the singing of Harry Boardman. He sang it once at a gig he did, and I was there. And I said to him, "Where did you get that verse from, Harry? I've never heard that." He said, "It's from got it from Ewan McCall or Jimmy Miller, as was." And you know this song. There's pleasure in dragging through peat, bog and bragging, of all the fine walks that you know. There's even a measure of some kind of pleasure in wading through 3 feet of snow. I've been on the edge of the downfall, and I've seen all the valleys outspread, and sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. I've been over Snowdon, I've slept upon Croton, I've been by the weighing stones as well. I've sunbathed on Kinder, been burnt to a cinder, and many more tales I can tell. Me rucksack has oft been me pillow, and the heather's oft been me bed, and sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. Well, the day was just ending, and I was descending from Grinsbrook just by Upper Tor, when a voice cried, "Hey you!" in the way keepers do. He'd the worst face that I ever saw. The things that he said were unpleasant, and in the teeth of his fury I said that sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. Well, he called me a louse, he said, "Think of the grouse." Well, I thought, but I still couldn't see how old Kinder Scout and the moors round about couldn't take both the poor grouse and me. He said, "All this land is me master's," but at that I stood shaking me head. No man has the right to own mountains any more than the deep ocean bed. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. I once courted a maid, a spot welder by trade. She was fair as the rowan in bloom, and the blue of her eyes matched the blue moorland skies, and I wooed her from April till June. On the day that we should have been married, well, I went for a ramble instead, for sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. So I go where I will, over mountain and hill, and I'll lie where the bracken is deep. I belong to the mountains, the pure crystal fountains, where the grey rocks rise rugged and steep. I've seen the white hare in the gully, and the curlew fly high overhead, and sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. Right, I'm going to do this song. It's called Gone Now. I've got a friend called Paul Mackenzie who comes to our folk club that we run, and he was a signalman on the railways. And over his 47 years or whatever it was, he worked with about 3 or 4 different companies, but stayed in the same box, if you know what I mean. So there's British Railways, British Rail, Rail Track and Network Rail, all the same people, you know, just different names. And he wrote quite a number of songs, and he started singing them at the club. And I persuaded him to make a recording of them. Anyway, this is one of the songs that Paul wrote, called Gone Now. It's a bit of a reflection on the beaching period. So we've got a very repetitive chorus, you'll pick it up. Porter on the station whistles a happy tune. Ask him where the train is. He says it'll come along soon, but he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. And I don't think he'll ever come back. No, I don't think he'll ever come back. Booking clerk in his office sells tickets of blue and green. Stamps the date upon them with his brass ticket machine. But he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. And I don't think he'll ever come back. No, I don't think he'll ever come back. Station master in serge of blue, gold braid on his hat, creases in his trousers. He checks out this and that, but he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. And I don't think he'll ever come back. No, I don't think he'll ever come back. Signal man in his box so tall, he looks out and he sees it all. Rings the bell, levers pull. Down the track a train comes through, but he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. Yes, he's gone now. And I don't think he'll ever come back. No, I don't think he'll ever come back. Small country station where the trains they once came, where passengers stood, weeds grow, beaching's forgotten its name, but it's gone now. Yes, it's gone now. Yes, it's gone now. I don't think it'll ever come back. I don't think it'll ever come back. It's gone now. Yes, it's gone now. Yes, it's gone now. I don't think it'll ever come back. I had a request for a Jake Thackeray song. Where is she? There. Now you can either have a rude one or not a quite as rude one.
Oh, rude. The ruder the better.
Well, it's not that rude.
Never mind that, Rebbe.
The Castleford Ladies' Magical Circle meets tonight in an upstairs aspidestrid room that's lit by candlelight, where Elizabeth Jones and Lily O'Grady and 3 or 4 more married ladies practice every week unspeakable pagan rites. Dressed in their Sunday best and the flower pot hats, respectable middle-aged ladies running to fat. At that, there's Elizabeth Jones and Lily O'Grady and 3 or 4 more married ladies, each with a Woolworth broomstick and a Derby cat. But they don't waste time with a Ouija board or a seance. They again. No, none of you wittering, twittering, petty poltergeists for them. No, Elizabeth Jones and Lily O'Grady and 3 or 4 more married ladies prefer to be tickled by the whiskery chins of bogeymen. Their husbands potter and snooker down the club, unaware of the devilish jiggery bonk and the rub-a-dub-dub, whilst Elizabeth Jones and Lily O'Grady and 3 or 4 more married ladies are frantically dancing naked for Beelzebub. And after their witches' picnic and their devil's grog, after their savage pantings, their hysterical leapfrog, why Elizabeth Jones and Lily O'Grady and 3 or 4 more married ladies go back home for cocoa and the epilogue. So be careful how you go of a Saturday night. If you see a little old lady passing by, it very well might be Elizabeth Jones or Lily O'Grady, or one of those satanical ladies. Their eyes are wild and bright, their cheekbones all alight. Don't go where they invite, because the Castleford Ladies' Magical Circle meets tonight. Yes, I'll finish with this song by Samuel Laycock, who was originally from Marsden in Yorkshire, and then his family and he moved down to Stalybridge in, well, it's debatable whether it's in Cheshire or bits of Lancashire or whatever. It's that sort of area, you know, Ashton-under-Lyne, Stalybridge. He wrote a song which was rumoured to be, shall we say, the inspiration for a television show. The author of this show had apparently heard this song, and it inspired him to write about 13 episodes, and it's still going today. It's called Coronation Street. But nowhere had I heard or read anywhere that Coronation Street was inspired by this song, which is called Boughton's Yard, or Boulton's Yard. Boulton's Yard was like an area, a courtyard, if you like, of houses in the middle of Stalybridge. And Sam Laycock sort of depicted, not particularly the people who actually lived there, but the sort of people who might have lived there. And again, this was possibly an inspiration. But I wrote to Tony Warren, who wrote Coronation Street, and I asked him, was this the inspiration? I sent him the words, just in case he'd no idea what I was talking about. And he rang me up and we had a chat about it. And he said, no, I can't tell you what the inspiration is, but thank you for sending me the words. I have heard them, but I've not heard them all. And he said when he was a child actor in the 40s, 50s, he was in the BBC in Manchester doing Children's Hour, and when it wasn't their turn to do anything, they brought a lady in to play the piano, to keep them all quiet. That lady was Violet Carson, who eventually went on to play Ina Sharples in The Street. So he said, yes, he remembered her doing that song and one or two others as well. And I'll come to this later on, but I'll sing the song, and you can see how it could have inspired him to write this thing. There's 13 verses. Yeah, we're all right. I'll do them quickly. At number 1 in Boughton's Yard, me granny keeps a scow, who has no money scholars yet, who's numbered 1 or 2. This and third woman's reared the cross, and well it may be so. I know who's brox me really once and poked me ears and all. At number 2 lives Widow Burns, who wishes clothes for folk. Their Billy, that's a son, gets jobs at wheeling coke. They send new courts with Sam and Ed's that lives at number 3. It may be so, I canna tell, it matters now to me. At number 3, ring-facing pump, Ned Grimshaw keeps a shop. He settles cakes and gingerbread and traitle beer and pop. He sells oat cakes and all does Ned, he has both soft and hard, and everybody buys off him that lives in Boughton's Yard. At number 4, Jack Blundrick lives, he goes to mill and waves, and at the weekend when he's time he pows a bit and shaves. He's badly off his Jack, oh lad, he's rather lonely son, and his children keep him down a bit, I think they're 9 or 10. At number 5 I live myself with Aunt Susanna Grime, but doesn't like me very well and turns me out sometimes. And when I'm in there's near no light I have to cower in dark, and I can't pay me lodging brass because I'm out of work. I'm number 6 next door to us and close to sided spout. Out Susie Collins sells small drink, but who's welly all is bout. And how it is as that's the case, I'm sure I canna tell. Who up and makes it very sweet and sups it all a sell. At number 7 there's nobody lives, they left it yesterday. Bum bailiffs come and marked the things and took them all away. They took them in a donkey cart, I know not where they went. Perhaps they'd been and taken them south because they owed some rent. At number 8 the Yorkshire folk, they're only man and wife. I think I've never seen nicer folk than these in all my life. You'll never get 'em falling out like lots of married folk. They all seem good-tempered like an handy wee joke. At number 9 the cobbler lives down lad as mends me shoon. He's getting very weak and dumb and he's off to leave us soon. He reads his Bible every day and he sings just like a lark. He says he's practising forever and he's well done his work. At number 10 James Boulton lives his nicest house in Draw. He's always plenty of summit to eat and lots of brass and all. And when he rides or walks about he's dressed up very fine. But he isn't half as near to heaven as him at number 9. At number 11 my uncle lives, I call him Uncle Tom. He goes to concerts up and down and he plays a kettle drum. He bands the music and such things, he seems to take a pride. And he always makes as big a noise as all he plays beside. At number 12 at Thendert Road, Joe Stiggins deals in ale. He's 6penny and 4penny, dark coloured and he's pale. But I ne'er touch it for I know it's ruined money a bard. And I'm told me chap as doesn't a drink who lives in Boulton's yard. So now I've done, I'll say goodbye and leave you for a while. I know I haven't told me tales in such a first-rate style, but if you're pleased I'm satisfied, I ask for no reward for telling you who my neighbours are that lives in Boulton's yard. Thank you. Right, now it's time for... He's fallen asleep, I think. Yeah, there you go. Time for the second act of the evening. You probably know Dave, certainly from his Worship and the Pig, the duo with Jeff Parton, who they've sadly not split up, they've just stopped doing things, haven't they? I'm sure he'll tell you all about it, but we've been asked to do this together, so I've been asked to introduce him in the best way possible, but I can't, so... Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, because Dave wrote all the songs, you know, that they did. Jeff just put the tune to it. You can put any old tune to it, can't you? It's the words that matter.
Slung them together.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Labour of a lunchtime they were, weren't they? Please put your hands together for Dave Boulton. Right, is that all right for you? If you can do.
Thank you, you can go now.
Can I go? Go on now.
It's lovely having a row. Takes me back, this does.
Hang on.
To before I was fossilised. That sound alright? I can't do anything about the quality at this stage, I'm afraid, but if the volume's alright, that's the best we can do. I'm going to do this song called, it's called Mountains and Men. And it's about disappearing skills. And this is the encore, really, because I don't know how far through the night we're going to get. You know, I'm sorry about having to sit down, by the way. I've got a condition. I have. You've heard of RSI, RSI, refractive history. I've got OFI, old fat nidal. There's choruses. Some of you'll know these choruses, and those that you don't, you'll have to learn them from those who do. It's dead easy. Just watch the mouths and follow them like dead easy. Watch, like Grace. You watch Grace like that. She does them all. Watch the sheep grazing out over the hills on a patchwork of yellow and green. So the barns and the fires, the homesteads and farms, the miles of stone wall in between. From the valleys they reach to the skyline, from the mountains run down to the sea. And I wondered who'd given a lifetime of labour and what kind of men they'd be. These men with the will to move mountains, these men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations, with marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. New light, telling old stained glass stories as it moves in the altar aisle, singing the praises and ring the glories of high vaulted ceilings and mosaic tiles, each stone cut and placed with precision, and each mortise and joint made to last by men with conviction and faith in the future from lessons they'd learned in the past. These men with a will to move mountains, these men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations and marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. Where are the men poured the coal from the ground, who smelted the iron and steel, and who sweated and slaved in the forge and the foundry, who tempered and quenched and annealed, when Stevenson, Brunel and Brindley came up with his projects and schemes, who created the locks and the bridges and dams from the engineers' visions and dreams. They were men with the will to move mountains, they were men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations and marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. Where are the smiths and the masons? Where are the craftsmen all gone? What do we leave to this new generation? What do we have to pass on to our sons? Crumbling concrete and plaster, only plastic and paint left to peel. Not a stone wall or spire, not a belfry or byre, just a world full of smoke, glass and steel. Men with a will to move mountains, men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations, with marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. Okay, I'm going to change different instruments. I'm going to play this. You know what this is?
Scissor.
That's not a scissor. It's a small one of them. Do you know I'm from Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah.
Or Smoke-on-Stench as they used to call it. And have anybody been to Stoke-on-Trent? Have you been to Stoke? Anybody been? I mean on purpose. If you got lost looking for Macclesfield, that doesn't count. Well, apparently, I didn't know this, but I've got an accent. I mean, I know you lot have got an accent, but I didn't know I had one. And not only have we got an accent, we've got quite a strong dialect. And I thought I would do a song about Stoke and about the dialect. It's called the Potter's Alphabet. And it's basically, in case you just find yourself straying over the border into Hanley, that this will give you a bit of an idea what people are talking about. Otherwise, you won't have a bloody clue. And so right, so we talk a bit funny like that. But you'll know that, Wedgwood, Dalton, Spode, all that kind of stuff. And Anna of the Five Towns. You heard that Arnold Bennett's Anna of the Five, most bloody boring book ever written. So Anna of the Five Towns, so it's Tunstall, Burslem, Hanley, Stoke, Fenton and Longton. So, yeah. So not only can't we talk properly, we can't really count alphabets. Yeah. No. So this song's the alphabet. I'm going to go through the alphabet and give you Stoke words for you to use in the future, if you feel yourself in need. And now I know the words. I've got no problem with the words. It's the alphabet I've got a bit of a problem with. So if you could just keep an eye on me, I'm looking a bit vacant. Perhaps you could just indicate what letter we're up to, because it gets a bit complicated around N. So let's see how we go. It's called the Potter's Alphabet. Oh, and of course, the first one is this here that says, "Hey up, Doc," which is what you'll get if you see anybody in Stoke. I took a guy who was visiting us from America, and I took him to a pub called The Vine in Tunstall, and he went through the door, and this bloke turned around to him and said, "Hey up, Doc, how at?" And I got this blank look at him, just complete. Is he English? That's not John the Pole, is it? I'm like, no, that's not John the Pole. He's not here tonight. And he said he came out 2 hours later. He says, "I didn't understand a bloody word anybody said to me." So this is a bit of a guide for you. A's for A up, used when greeting your mates. B is for Boston, when summit's dead great. And C is for Chonnocks, the young turnips are sweet. And D is for Daltons, making pots dine now straight. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling and not ask for change. If you want to have a go at that, you'd be more than welcome. E is for ears, it's the passage of time. And F is for font, it's the past tense of fine. G is for gizzit, as in please pass the ball. And we only use H when posh relatives call. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Is it I? I's for Eileen, runs from Manley to Chell. And J is for Jed, it means worse than not well. K's for the costing, cost lend us £1. L is for Lozzock, that's dotted around. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. On to you. Oh, M is for Mardas, they whinge and they whine. And N is for Nesh, when you're cold all the time. O's for oat cake, it's a food we all like. And P is for pikelet, a juvenile pike. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons are singing. First among equals is second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny and they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Nice. Is it Q? Q. Q is for Quain, who reigns o'er us all, and R is for Rot, a small rodent of sorts. S is for snapping like oatcakes and lobby, and T is for Manley, where the folks are dead snobby. No, they're not. What is that? Mums and bloody hell, I was driving up here tonight. There's people with potting sheds bigger than our house. Bloody hell, I've never seen so many horses. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny and they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling and not ask for change. Now, I'll tell you something now, because this U is for Utchiter. Now, Utchiter is actually Utoxeter. So not only can't we count, we talk a bit funny, but we can't pronounce words with more than 2 syllables. Syllable, you know what I mean. U is for Utoxeter. To the side, U is for Utchiter. To the side, me is for virgins. There aren't many here. W's for Wedgwood, who makes the best chinas. The other 3 letters are very good rhymers. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, who first among equals is second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Yes, they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Potter's alphabet. So, okay, this isn't going to be all Stoke, but there's a bit of Stoke in this first half. I'm actually born in a place called Feggays, F-E-G-G-H-A-Y-E-S. A haze is like a copse. I have got no idea what Feg is. So if you've got any ideas, please, please share. No, not the slightest anyway, Feggays. But the main town, when I say the main town, they're saving up for a set of traffic lights, and then it's that sort of place, but it was a mining town and a potteries town because the coke, the coal and the clay and the water from the Trent were all there together in the Trent Valley, and so all these towns, these 5 towns sprung down the Trent Valley, and I lived in Tunstall, and it's a bit of a rough town. The only place I've ever known where the muggers have to have police protection from the junior school kids. What I liked, this is really it's strange because it's all a bit out of time now, because it was from the days when I used to live there, and I used to see in the terraced houses all these old ladies during the summer would be sitting outside. They'd bring a chair out to their parlour and have a chair outside in the street, and they'd be talking to each other up and down the street, and if anybody was ill, there'd be somebody take something round for them, and all this kind of stuff. And I used to think these old ladies, and I realised they were probably about 50. And so it's a bit out of time now. So when I say old ladies now, they'd have to be 160, wouldn't they, to meet me? Anyway, what I did, but they've knocked down a lot of those terraced houses now, and they built these new maisonettes, and it was very clever how they built them. They built them angled, so that when you looked out your window, you couldn't see another human being. It was completely devoid of any humanity, and I just wondered how these people, they were very nice, they were all like white and plastic and double glazed, but I just wondered how people who were living in that sort of situation really felt about these terraced houses. And I've been there recently, so I'm about sort of 30 years on. There's terraced houses, the ones that are left, Greengate Street and the Boulevard in Dunstan, never failed to make me laugh. Still look fine, but some of these old new places, they're just falling to bits. They're bloody, you know, all the wood's rotten, the wood, it's terrible. So this song is called it's called Bricks and Mortar, and there's a chorus in with which you're invited to join. I shall tell you this chorus as soon as it comes back to me. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. I don't know the first line, that's the problem. Walk around your town, you'll be shocked at what they've done. They've knocked down all the terraces, they put up brand new slums, with woodwork floors, with woodwork doors, with plastic and steel. It's a pity that the people left to live in them are real. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Alright. That wasn't. Well, they stood now for 100 years in peacetime and in war. With nothing but a lick of paint, they'd last 100 more. With care and ingenuity, they'd still be going strong. When the little concrete boxes they're building now are gone. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. The red brick terraces, the old front doors and sashes, reduced to heaps of rubble and to piles of smouldering ashes. Through the smoke I saw the old folk watching from the path, while unconcerned the workmen burn their future and their past. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Like that, only loud. And I wondered if they really wanted patios and ponds, if they prefer the terraces, well back where they belong. I wondered if some 9 to 5 are lumbered with the task, had ever even bothered to get off his arse and ask. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think, breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. You don't know what that feels like, do you? Have somebody sing while you're singing, it's just lovely. There's some more verses. I remember there's some more verses, I just don't remember what they are. It's the people in the houses, it's the well-to-do poor. The preacher, the publican, the bloke who lives next door. The mothers and the lovers and the sisters and the wives make a difference in the end between a living and a life. Come on. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Takes more than plans and promises to make a place to live. Takes more than good intentions, if that's all you have to give. 'Cause you can't build flesh and feeling or get blood out of a stone. And it takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house, a home. Shall we do it again? Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think, breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house, a home. Thank you very much. I'm running out of time. Can I do two more? I want to do this for you. It's new. It's newish. It's newer. It's not new, but I think we were talking earlier on about how uncertain these times are, from all the stuff we've been through and are going through. And this song came out of me, I don't know, 18 months ago, something like that. And it seems to sum up, to some extent, I think probably what we're going through. It's called The Peace Machine. Oh, we're funny little creatures, we scamper on the earth. We are made up of self-importance, convinced of our self-worth. We really think we're something smart and smooth and slick, when the evidence is pointing to us being a bit thick. But when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever, when you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forest full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. We don't half love our Beamers, our Audis and our Mercs. We don't seem to give a damn that our obsession cost the earth. There's millions upon millions roaring up the motorway, millions upon millions roaring back the other way. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forest full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Now we believe our scientists believe they're doing good, but they just don't get that 'cause you can don't always mean you should. To me they're more like children building castles on a beach. Well, the things they really need are slipping farther from our reach. And when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Oh, it's true, we split the atom, we yoked the power of suns. The first thing that we used it for was building bigger bombs. We stumbled on the laser, we'd have much preferred a phaser, or a death ray, or some other ghastly guns. But when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Oh, we're facile fossil junkies, that there is no doubt. There's no sign we'll kick the habit till the lights start going out. It's true we power our planet on creatures dead for eons, so when we make plastic dinosaurs, we make them out of real ones. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Now it won't be in my time, but I have my hopes and dreams that those that follow after me will find the ways and means to use the brains they're born with to get us back on track before we hit the tipping point and there's no turning back. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. When hunger is a memory, a walking sign to history, come back then and tell me that you're clever. You might have heard this song before, but I've actually had one of those days today. I've had one of those days where everything you touch turns to rubbish. I'm not going to go through the details of it, but it culminated with Mark getting in touch with me about 10 to 6 and saying, excuse me Mark, I know I can't do your accent very well, but I just like trying. You know the M56 is closed.
I'm not George Formby.
This is a song called It's Going to Be One of Those Days, and please join in with It's Going to Be One of those days. It's absolutely everywhere. It's been one of those days. When you find you slept through your alarm clock and you can't find clean knickers or socks, or when number one daughter's used all the hot water and there's no tea bags left in the box, when the orange juice carton is empty and the coffee pot's furry and green, the only bread's frozen, the toaster is broken, and you struggle to stifle a scream. Well, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. But don't think these things always happen to you. The creation has cursed everything that you do. For the rich and the famous have their moments too, and it's going to be one of those days. You got it? Give it some lung, as they say in Stoke. Now there's icebergs ahead, said the first mate to the captain what stood on the bridge. On the Titanic there was no sign of panic. The captain was cool as a fridge. They can't harm us at all, he said smiling. Hold your course, keep a full steam ahead. Soon after noting the carpets were floating, he turns to the first mate and said, oh, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Now why do these things always happen to me? Just how unlucky can anyone be? This is not going to look too good on me CV. It's going to be one of those days. Dr. Livingstone lived in the jungle with a tribe what thought he was a god. Well, he got 40 wives, gold and silver besides. He was set up for life. Then Stanley strides into the clearing with his pishak. Then Stanley strides into the clearing with his pithat, machete and shorts. I presume you are one Dr. D. Livingstone, at which the good doctor retorts, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Here I was living the life of a toff. Now Stanley's caused a complete catastrophe. I wish he'd just take his pithat and pith off. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Now there's no disputing Rasputin was cute in a mad monkish way. He was giving Katrina, the lovely Tsarina, more than spiritual guidance, they say. So the Tsar he arranged for his maiden, and he hired a hit monk for the job, to stab him and shoot him and electrocute him. No names and no pack drilled in mob. Here we go. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Yes, it's going to be one of those days. If there's trouble about, you can bet as I have it. Is it my fault the Tsarina goes like a rabbit? If this is mad monking, I'm changing me habit. It's going to be one of those days. If you ever have one of those mornings when nothing you do will go right, and everything that you touch from the time you get up congeals into one great heap of rubbish, well, don't think it's your fault if you know it's not something you've eaten or said, and all you can do when it happens to you is sing as you go back to bed. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Oh, it isn't a blessing, it feels like a curse when things keep on turning from bad into worse, and you can't even think of a line for this song that'll rhyme or scan or any